I'll tell you. Yep.
We're on?
Yeah.
Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, January 17th, 2018. I should have known what day it is before we start this. First of all, we have the beautiful Rachel is filming this, which is the first time ever in almost 2 years that somebody else is filming one of my Facebook Live videos. So that's awesome. I also have incredibly special superstar guest, Mr. Tim Johnson.
Thanks for having me.
So Tim, Throwback Thursday, do you remember the first time we discussed the concept of the black swan?
Yeah, it was about 4 years ago.
4 years ago. And what has that done for you in 4 years? First of all, what is it? What's the concept of the black swan? What does
It's
it mean?
Murphy's Law. If something's going to mess up, I guarantee you it's going to. It's just whether or not you're ready for it.
That's true. And the black swan, technically the black swan, it stands for, it's from a book by Nicholas Taleb called The Black Swan. And it's about a 600-page book, so I'm not suggesting you read it, because now after this video you don't have to. Black Swan, he really spends 600 pages discussing the fact that a black swan stands for an event that is extraordinary, unexpected, nobody expects it, it's so strange you would think it would never happen. You'd think, if you're watching this, think, have you ever seen a black swan? They're white.
I have one over my desk.
Yes, we have a picture of one, right? So it's meant to denote a strange, not inconceivable, you couldn't have seen it ahead of time event. So in the book, Taleb relates that to the financial world. And so, for instance, when the market takes a nosedive or crashes, or a real estate market crashes, and lots of people jump off of buildings and go bankrupt, and they lose everything they have, and they claim like, well, you couldn't see that coming, who knew, whatever. The black swan, the concept is you don't know what specifically is coming, but you need to know something is coming. Black swans are going to exist at some time. So now 4 years ago we talked about this, and living by that concept that you never know when or what's going to happen, but you know something is.
It's
You've
not
told
if,
me,
it's when.
yeah, you just know that's a great way of putting it. You just know when. So you've told me that you have now made that a focus of your entire business, which Tim owns multiple businesses and helps many people with their businesses, and you make this a focus of your life.
Well, it's what if. What if your wife gets sick? What if one of your contractors
Well, my
shows up?
beautiful wife Michelle's right here, and are you doing okay?
Great.
However, what if?
What if?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the
Are you going to focus more on your business at that point? Or are you going to focus more on making sure your wife is taken care of? So when I look at that, I'm like, how do we put a system and processes in place? And what if syndromes? What if one of my, I'll give you a perfect example. A year ago when I called you, remember, one of my contractors, I was in a vet just leaving with us. I get on the phone and one of my contractors had rolled his car and passed away.
I remember you told me that. I remember that.
And and I apologize, we have hiccups in our life all the time. But because I had 600 contractors in my database, as much as I didn't want to replace Mark, if I still wanted to take care of my investor's family and my family and everything else, I had to make sure those systems were in place. And I constantly work on that, because you always know I get up super early. And that's one of the focuses I look at every morning. What am I not seeing? What am I not doing? Or what systems don't I have in place if these big what ifs come in?
So while, of course, that was a catastrophic event, and really, talk about unexpected and jarring, and personally, it's a tragic event, but by understanding and planning for a potential black swan, it was not a tragic, catastrophic event for your business.
No.
I mean, you took a deep breath, it certainly affected you, but immediately you're like, I planned for who knows that this would happen, and I have a Rolodex of 600 people to possibly replace them, and things will move on.
Well, just think about what we talked about the last 9 days. All of a sudden, I buried my grandma, my nanny. She was just over 90 days ago. Last 45 days, I buried my grandpa. Now my parents are moving next to us. So all these things, there's no way for me to know. I mean, they've been healthy and good. We knew my nanny was, we just didn't know when. So it was kind of that, and all of a sudden everything hit it at 90 days, and my business still ran. The systems were in place so they could run, because a lot of that time was spent.
But sure, like you said, I mean, there were issues. I mean, because your father was involved in your businesses, and all the, Tim's a big time real estate investor, and so there's all kinds of money going here and floating here, and suddenly what's going on, and no access to it, and this and the whatever, and like, but not knowing what would happen or when, just being prepared in case.
Right.
minor hiccup instead of major catastrophe.
Yeah, like all of a sudden now my contractors, all of a sudden we lost all our renters. All those systems are in place. It wasn't catastrophic. It was just a hiccup. Because again, and I learned more and more. Right, every time I think I got this,
Another one comes out of nowhere.
Exactly, and the more you learn from it, the more every time one of those things. All right, great. This is how liquid I was. Now I need to be this liquid, because we don't know. Okay, and that's one of the things in any business, we have to look at. And
You need all the right resources.
No, absolutely.
You need the money. You need the connections.
Yep.
You need the plans. You need
Yep.
the systems.
Yep.
It's like insurance. You need more than you think you need.
Absolutely.
And that's the tip of the day. That's the power of understanding the black swan concept. I love how you put it. It's not weather or something out of the blue that could be catastrophic is going to happen. It's just when.
Okay.
And so you decide, dear viewer, dear listener,
Yeah.
who you're going to be. Are you going to be the person when some crazy, unforeseen event attacks your life and your business? Are you going to be the person that goes, so you understand, that's why I lost everything? Or are
Right.
you going to be the person that says, yeah, that was tough, but thanks to having the right systems, the right teams, the right people, the right coaches, the right
Yeah.
everything in place, we made it through, and actually we're doing fine, and we're even more prepared for the next one, because it's
Yeah.
going to happen. You're a business owner, so for 9 to 5 workers, not as much. The company lays off or goes out of it, but for entrepreneurs, for business owners,
Yeah.
it's an everyday thing.
Every day.
They
Yeah.
might as well call it a white swan, because it happens all the time.
Right.
And yet you hear, how many times do people come up and give you some excuse for why everything fell apart, blah, 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 and all you can think of, I'm sure, is you weren't prepared for the black swan.
That's it.
Let me teach you too late now,
Right.
but too early for the next one,
Right.
the concept of the black swan.
And when you start to layer that, it's a ripple effect. It really is, because when you do look at it, friends, family. Even my own dad. I was trying to explain to him, like, Dad, there is a black swan here. My grandpa's moving in, and my dad's like, No, you don't understand. What's going to be? He had carpet on the floor. Every major hospital you go to has it, but he didn't want to listen. Then all of a sudden, the last 90 seconds, I get off an airplane, come from travel. I had to go put flooring in because I want to make sure my grandpa was there. But then we had to move him out, do all this stuff. I'm like, Pop, think about it. If we'd done Black Swan, we knew he was coming. If you just let me do it then, it would have made it easy. And the more my parents see that, the more they understand why I'm putting processes in place for them. So it is.
And I just have to say, you're a great, I'm not just saying this to butter you up. I'm a straight talker. People
Yeah.
know me as straight
Yeah.
talk Steve. Like, you're a great example of someone that really took that to heart.
No.
I've shared that concept with so many people, and they just go on through life, and then something hits.
Well, no,
But in your case, like you said, you get up every morning before dawn.
Yeah.
You get more done in the first 3 hours of the day before the whole world even woke up than most people accomplish in a year.
Well, I'll share.
And a lot of that
Yeah.
is putting your systems in place in your
Yeah.
what-if scenarios.
Well, I remember you asked me a couple years ago. We were going Throwback. You're like, Timmy, I'm not sure what I've done for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Remember, we were sitting down when I came back for another strategy day with
Well,
you.
because you're so used to, you don't ask me for things. You don't say, can you write a headline for my marketing piece? And I'm like, Tim, are you, from being my client, I don't know. You never told me, are you getting any value at all out of being my client?
Almost every
You like
conversation we
smacked
have.
me in the head over the phone.
No, but it's almost every conversation we have on the phone. I almost every time, if you didn't never notice, I'm like, Steve, this was going on. He's like, oh, you should do this, this, this. Great. I don't have to sit there and argue with you for 45 minutes on the phone. I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate it.
Now I'm just going to go do it.
I appreciate that.
So I was just talking about Throwback. A lot of people don't see that. They always want to over talk everybody. He's got to listen. We all have different experiences in different places. So most of the time I call you up, you always does. I'm like, dude, it's this. You're like, Harvard? What, like West Point University? Like, are you inviting the same dummy people to Harvard that you went to at West? I'm like, oh shit. So I went back to where we're marketing, or we would have no people in our event.
We talked about segmenting the list.
Right. But again, most of those conversations, they're usually done over the phone. I'm not using headlines. It's the process which you're telling me to think about. I'm like, okay, good. Now, because I didn't do it, remember, the guy I was working for, I'd love him to death, but I'd take it back, okay? And then I would go to the other one, and she's like, dude, that's a great idea. Like, what are we doing? And we just do it anyway. But it's just the conversation. It's not always the headline. It's the conversation.
Very cool. Well, I hope we have many more.
For a lifetime.
So I got to thank the fabulous Rachel for your hands are falling, your arms are falling off from holding up the camera for so long as we gab and blab and
Oh,
yak
no, I'm good.
till the end of times over here. Yeah, Rachel, come on in and say hello. My beautiful wife Michelle is now holding up the camera, and so Rachel is saying hello. Fred, come on in and
Fred.
say hello.
It's Throwback.
As the sun
We're gonna be
is
throwing
setting
back
in
this
the
for many
west,
years, brother.
over the river,
Yeah.
in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida, from the castle.
At Mastermind, January 2019, Steve Sipress Mastermind.
Be here or be square. In other words, all of them are square.
I think so.
But we are here.
Here we are here.
And
Right.
speaking of which, that'll do it for Throwback Thursday, and we'll be back tomorrow on Foundation Friday. I'll grab another one of my superstar clients, and we'll share a foundational tip to help you build a better business and build a better life. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for watching on the replay, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Over and out. Bye-bye. Oh, you press a button somewhere.